Hi, my name's Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video from my unmade bed. Today is day 11 of lockdown, the coronavirus lockdown here in Spain, and it's been okay so far. I think it's easier this week than last week. I've got used to it a little bit. The hardest thing is actually going outside. I think once I'm in my little bubble of my apartment, it's okay. Anyway, speaking of being inside all day, last week I did my Toastmasters meeting online and I was a bit curious about how it would go, and it went very well. And I had to give a speech, which was very interesting because normally we give speeches, in where we have our meetings, and I would get dressed up, suited and booted and wear makeup and stuff. But this time I was in my pajamas, no makeup, and in my front room. So it was a very interesting experience. And the title of my speech was The Birth of Venus O'Hara. It was my 5th speech and the focus was on body language. So that was very difficult to think about doing body language at home online. But I did it. So here is my speech, and if you have any constructive criticism to offer me or any points, I would love to read your comments in the comments section below. And if you have any ideas for future videos, then please don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org, or you can add me on Instagram at Venus O'Hara. Anyway, enjoy my speech, The Birth of Venus O'Hara. Dun dun dun! Can you see me and hear me? Yeah? Okay. Do you remember Baywatch? You know, Pamela Anderson, the red swimsuit, running down the beach in slow motion with those big boobs. I remember it very well. And I remember that all the guys in my school were crazy about Pamela Anderson because she was the perfect woman, apparently. And I felt so sad. I thought, well, if this is the perfect woman and I am like this, then no one is ever going to desert or desire me, because I'm nothing like that. And back then I thought that validation came from others as opposed to from within. But fortunately, after Baywatch, I discovered Venus, dun dun dun, the goddess of beauty. I made this discovery in my history of art class. I discovered the Renaissance Venus that were reclining. They had red hair, pale skin, and they were voluptuous, but they were natural. And I thought, wow, they look just like me. Maybe if I'd been born 400 years earlier, I would be a desirable woman like Pamela Anderson. But fortunately, I did find a guy who did desire me, and loved me, and I fell in love big time. My first boyfriend was one of the biggest loves of my life, and he introduced me to Venus, goddess of sex. And he gave me this book, Venus in Furs, written by, sorry for the German speakers, and Austria, this is from Austria, written by Leopold von Sacher-Masoch. And this is where the word masochism comes from. And in these pages, it's a very twisted love story starring Venus and Severin. But this Venus had red hair, white skin, green eyes just like me, but she wasn't a passive Renaissance goddess. She was badass. And I thought, wow, I want to be just like her. So I got rid of the boyfriend. But even after him, I continued to be Venus in Furs for many years. It was my massive passion in my private life. And I had this bubbling desire inside of me to share my message about sexuality with the world. So in 2009, I decided to leave my job in real estate and start a sex blog, as you do. And obviously 11 years later, I'm still here. And I wanted to share my own story in this book called La Máscara de Venus, the Mask of Venus, which has nothing to do with these masks that we have to wear right now, fortunately. In this book, La Máscara de Venus, the Mask of Venus, I was talking about how a mask, it didn't actually I wasn't hiding my identity. With this mask, I was becoming more of who I really was. Because I became, back then, Venus O'Hara. It seemed like the perfect name for me. I always had this Venusian connection ever since I was a teenager. And O'Hara is a very typical Irish surname, and my family is Irish. I spent my best summers of my life in a village where Maureen O'Hara had a house. And of course, O'Hara is also from Gone with the Wind, Scarlett O'Hara. So I loved this elegant Irish connection. It seemed perfect for me, Venus O'Hara. And that's who I've been for many years. However, my Venusian identity and expression has evolved continuously. And just 3 years ago, I had a spiritual awakening. And everything changed. I no longer had the desire to be dominant and badass like I was previously. In fact, I had no desire to dominate at all. I became the goddess of self-love, because anyone who spends time with me knows that I'm very passionate about taking care of yourself, about eating well, about leading an authentic life and having healthy habits. So right now I'm very concerned about encouraging other people to connect with the Venus that they have within, because Venus is the goddess that all women have, I believe. And of course, and recently, I discovered that Hara is not only an Irish surname, but it also refers to the sacral chakra, the chakra which is the energy centers in the body. And the sacral chakra is also connected to creativity and sexuality. So even though I have been evolving throughout the years, Venus O'Hara is not a name that I chose for myself. The name chose me. Thank you.